We're here with Sharon, and I want to hear your advice for how can we change people's minds. We hear so much about undecided voters, which still blows my mind, but there are a lot of undecided voters out there, or people who would just want more answers. How do you start these hard conversations?
It has to start with respect. People are not going to listen to you. Hello, Emily.
Oh, hello.
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 I'll just finish my answer. Yeah, and
Yeah,
then
finish your answer.
Yeah.
Finish your answer. We're talking about how to change people's minds and how to start hard conversations.
People are not going to listen to you if the conversation starts with like, "Oh my God, why are you such an ugly idiot?" Right? Like people are not going to be like, "Oh, you know what? I want to drink what you're selling." They have to feel like you respect them as an intelligent individual and that you're genuinely interested in what they have to say. People generally don't want to listen to you until they feel listened to. And unfortunately, that's a big ask. Because sometimes what you're being asked to listen to is Nancy Pelosi is a lizard person, right? Like what you're being asked to listen to is something that is absolutely nonsensical. But it helps to really think about, where is this coming from? Like why would somebody prefer to believe something crazy and outlandish over believing something that is rooted in reality? Understanding the whys of people are understanding why people are susceptible to certain types of thinking goes a long way. They often don't have good answers for why the world works the way it does, but their brain is very uncomfortable with uncertainty. And so in an effort to become certain about something, they would rather fill in all the blanks with something that seems like something they want to believe rather than sit with the discomfort of uncertainty of, I don't know how to explain that yet. That is something they cannot abide. They have a lack of distress tolerance. To use language from therapists, a lack of distress tolerance of like, I don't know how to explain this and I can't handle it. That is something some people just have a very difficult time doing. And understanding that and having compassion for that actually goes a lot farther than mocking or shaming somebody for feeling that way.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes so much sense. Emily and I talk a lot about how to start the conversations, how to have grace, how to have empathy, because you have to come from those places if you want to make any kind of change.
So, what I often hear from my followers is that they have too much anxiety to know how to act. They can't figure out how to start. So, everything feels like the stakes are increasingly high. How do you talk to people about getting started?
It's such a great question. Something that you actually do really well is just to pick something and do it, right? Like there's this idea that, I have to analyze all the options and then I have to weight them against each other. And I need to then make a determination about which is the most impactful and how I can best allocate my resources. And that analysis paralysis keeps you stuck and keeps you doing nothing. And then you feel this increasing amount of guilt and anxiety about the fact that you're not doing anything, right? When in reality, if you just picked anything and started doing it, whether it's like, yeah, okay, I'll do the postcards. Yeah, okay, I can deliver yard signs tomorrow for 1 hour. Like, yeah, okay, I can make 5 phone calls this evening. I can send 10 text messages. If you just said yes to something small, then you can build on that success in the future. That feeling successful in one thing. This is true in education too, as a longtime teacher. Academic success breeds more academic success. You probably don't know a lot of people who get straight A's in 5 subjects and fail 2 more. Most people who are academically successful consistently. They might struggle with some subjects more, but you don't see that disparate grading on somebody's report cards. 4 F's and 3 A's. That's not usually how it works, right? Because academic success breeds more success. And the same is true of civic success. When you do one thing and you're like, that was actually kind of fun. I ate pizza with my friends and we wrote postcards. That breeds the incentive to do more. In fact, my next door neighbor sent me a text the other night and she was like, do you want to come over? I'm having my friends over tonight and we're writing postcards. And I actually had other plans that night, but I stopped over for 5 minutes. And she had a whole group of friends over. She was making pizza in her outdoor pizza oven. And they were just sitting around her dining room table writing postcards for candidates that they liked. There was a woman there who was a nun. A nun was there. That was in the friend group. There was a elderly woman who used a wheelchair. They went and picked her up and said, we're going to come pick you up. You come join us. We're going to have fun. We're going to eat pizza. And then like a big group of other women, they were having so much fun together. I think we tend to think that like activities that support democracy have to be a slog. They have to be boring. And you talk about this a lot too, Emily, that like, actually, no, pick something that seems appealing to you. Pick something that you're good at and just do that thing for like 1 hour. That's all you have to do is pick any old thing. The worst that can happen is that you think, oh, no, I got too many cramps in my hand. Postcard writing's not for me. And you don't do that thing in the future. That's the worst that can happen.
Yes, I ate too much pizza.
I had
while
too
writing
many
postcards
pizza.
I made friends with a nun.
Yeah.
That story would be worth it forever. I mean, you know what I mean? That's cocktail party fodder for the rest of your life.
Forever and ever.
Absolutely. So when I walked into this party and everybody was like, hello. And they were literally just having so much fun, just right in there. They had the whole station of like the different, here's the pens and here's the postcards, here's the addresses. They were having so much fun together. But probably nobody in that group at age 32 was like, someday I'm going to write postcards and it's going to be the most fun. No. But now that they've done it, they realize like, it actually was pretty fun. I'd do that again. So just pick any old thing. And the worst that can happen is you don't do that thing again in the future.
And, you know, one of the things, your forthcoming book is a lot about history. And it's been really interesting to hear from my followers about how excited they are to delve into history. You know, I never thought that I would hear so much about history from Instagram denizens, but nonetheless, here we are. What is it that you've heard from people that excites them about reading your book and about really digging into these historical narratives and how they're going to be using that as inspiration in their own lives moving forward?
You know, people are very, very interested, I have found, in learning the hidden histories, the untold stories, the things that are not the marble busts in the state capitals, the things that are not the names in bold in their boring second grade textbooks. There's something exciting about knowing something that they didn't know before. And I think this is one way that the internet has been used for a tremendous amount of good on platforms like both of you have, which is that the democratization of information is tremendously exciting. Like the ability to just access information at any time. Humans have never had that opportunity before. Never. And it's very perplexing, bewildering, overwhelming, but also tremendously exciting to be able to learn things that they didn't even know existed. So that's one of the main things that I'm hearing is that this idea of like, I'm so excited to know the things I didn't know before and to create this sort of like community of friends, historic friend figures from which to draw inspiration of like, if they did it, having experienced all of that, then I can write some postcards and have some pizza with my friends. You know what I mean? Like there's something to be said for seeing how other people had success in something. That is, I think it gives people hope, and people very much are looking for hope to cling to in this moment.
Yeah, I mean, I hear from people all the time, nothing ever changes. And I'm like, well, I've been doing politics for 20 years and I've seen a lot change in 20 years. And so thinking back through, all of the stories you cover in the book, it seems like a big part of the message is also like actions actually do result in changes. Things do change.
Things change. And when you read a book like this or other books of history, you'll be like, damn, actually a lot has changed. And for the better, right? America has many things going for it. It has things that need to improve. But one of the things we have, generally speaking, consistently done, with a few exceptions, is we have consistently added to the rights of our citizens. We have consistently moved the needle towards adding rights to people's lives and not taking them away. Again, with a few exceptions. But that's overall been the posture throughout history. And when you look at how long the struggle has been for some groups, for suffrage workers, for civil rights workers, I think the immediacy of social media leads people to the conclusion of like, listen, I called my senator's office and nothing changed. It didn't happen. Like they feel like I did that one thing that you told me to do and nothing happened. And reading stories like the ones in this book show exactly sometimes what it does take to make change, and helps people feel like their small actions actually do add up to something meaningful. What if the pregnant 15-year-olds in Montgomery, Alabama decided, you know what, never mind. I'm just going to stay. I'm going to do whatever the police on this bus tell me to do. I'm just going to move to the black section of the bus. Never mind. What if that because nothing ever changes, right? What if in the year 1955 they were like, nothing ever changes, but instead they refused to believe the lie that what they did not matter. And these are the people whose shoulders upon which we stand today. The people who refuse to believe the lie that what they did not matter. And we can be great Americans too, just because we choose to. Not because somebody bestows the title on us, not because we were born into billions of dollars, not because we, had some kind of famous last name. These are choices that we can make. And the people in this book show us the way.
Just took a